Everyone thinks life changes begin with something external. A breakup, a loss, a new job, a sudden decision. But Carl Jung discovered something far quieter. Real life changes begin long before anything visible happens. They begin as an internal disturbance, a subtle psychological signal most people overlook. If you've been feeling restless for no clear reason, if familiar routines suddenly feel hollow, if you sense that something is shifting but can't explain what, then the future you're moving toward may already be present. Most people don't recognize this moment. They call it boredom, or burnout, or a phase they hope will pass. But Jung saw it differently. He saw it as the soul's early warning system. In the next few minutes, we're going to gently decode the way the soul signals change before life rearranges itself. Not through fear, not through collapse, but through quiet patterns that repeat until they are heard. There are several signals, and each one has a different texture. One of them is often mistaken for a midlife crisis. Another is usually misdiagnosed as loss of motivation. And one, in particular, almost everyone ignores until it's too late. We'll come back to that one later. For now, let's start where Jung always started, with the inner life. Many of the people who came to Carl Jung were not in crisis. They were functioning, responsible, often admired. They had built lives that worked. And yet, they felt a strange distance from themselves, as if they were present, but not fully inside their own experience. Jung noticed that this feeling often appeared after long periods of adaptation, years spent being who life required them to be. Early in life, we all learn how to belong. We learn which parts of us are welcomed, which emotions are rewarded, which instincts make life easier. Slowly, we shape ourselves around those expectations. Carl Jung called this adaptive self the persona. The persona is not a lie. It's a tool. It allows us to function in the world. But when we live too long inside it, something essential is left behind. The parts of us that didn't fit neatly, the impulses that were inconvenient, the curiosity that felt impractical, the emotions that complicated relationships. Jung called these unseen parts the shadow. The shadow doesn't disappear when ignored. It waits. And when it waits too long, it begins to influence life indirectly. This is often the first warning sign. People begin to feel drained by things that once energized them. Goals lose their emotional charge. Success feels oddly unsatisfying. Not painful, just empty. One of Jung's patients described it as feeling like he was wearing clothes that no longer fit, but not knowing where to find new ones. Nothing was wrong, yet everything felt slightly off. Jung understood this as the psyche withdrawing energy from a life that had grown too narrow. This withdrawal is not punishment. It is redirection. The soul doesn't shout at first. It whispers. It sends discomfort before it sends disruption. Another patient noticed a series of small coincidences. The same phrase appearing in different places. Unexpected encounters that felt strangely meaningful. Dreams echoing events from waking life. Jung called this synchronicity, not magic, not fate, but the inner and outer worlds aligning to draw attention inward. These moments are easy to dismiss. Most people do. They tell themselves it's nothing, just chance, just stress. But when the same patterns repeat, Jung paid attention. Dreams often intensify during this phase as well. People dream of houses with unfamiliar rooms, of corridors they've never walked through, of doors that have always been there but never opened. Jung saw the house as the psyche, and the hidden rooms as unlived parts of the self. When these images appear, something inside is asking to be acknowledged. At this point, many people try to push through. They work harder. They optimize. They distract themselves with productivity or noise. And sometimes this works. For a while. But eventually, the psyche speaks more clearly. This is the moment most people misunderstand. So let's pause here. Stop for a second. Most people hear this and think, that's not me. They assume the soul's warning must feel dramatic. emotional, overwhelming. But Jung used a simple test to see if someone was already in transition. He asked them to notice where their energy was quietly withdrawing. Not where they were failing, not where things were broken, but where effort no longer produced meaning. If something in your life requires more and more force to maintain, yet gives less and less emotional return, that is not laziness. That is information. The soul removes energy from paths that are no longer aligned. This brings us to the signal most people misinterpret. The feeling that life is moving, but you are not. People describe it as standing still while time passes, as watching others move forward while they feel paused. Jung saw this not as stagnation, but as incubation. The psyche often slows outer movement when an inner reorganization is underway. This period can feel uncomfortable, uncertain, disorienting. The alchemists called it nigredo, the darkening. Life feels flatter. Old identities loosen. Clear answers disappear. Modern culture tells us to fix this quickly, to label it, to escape it. But Jung believed this phase was essential. One of his patients told him, "I feel like I'm losing myself." Jung replied gently, "You are losing who you thought you were." This is the turning point. If the earlier warnings were whispers, this is the steady pressure that follows. And here is the most important part. The soul does not warn us to frighten us. It warns us to prepare us. Change is coming either way. The question is whether we participate consciously or are carried by it unconsciously. This is where the work becomes practical. Jung didn't believe in forcing answers. He believed in dialogue, listening instead of controlling. So here is a simple tool he used with patients during periods of transition. When something creates repeated emotional friction, don't ask, "How do I fix this?" Ask, "What part of me is trying to enter my life through this experience?" When a dream repeats, don't analyze it immediately. Sit with the feeling it leaves behind. When motivation fades, don't shame yourself. Notice what your energy is withdrawing from and where it subtly wants to move. These questions don't produce instant clarity. They produce orientation. And orientation is what the soul needs before movement. As this inner dialogue deepens, many people notice small but meaningful shifts. They feel more present, less compelled to maintain old roles, more curious about what feels alive now. Life may not become easier, but it becomes more honest. Jung believed that individuation was not about becoming extraordinary. It was about becoming whole. Not abandoning life, but inhabiting it fully. If you are experiencing these signals now, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing. You may simply be standing at the edge of a transition your soul has been preparing you for. And once you recognize the warning, the next question naturally follows. What do you do when the change actually begins? That is where the next phase starts. And that is exactly what we explore in the next reflection in this series. For now, let this understanding settle. Let it orient you. Because the soul does not warn us to stop our lives. It warns us so we can live them more truthfully. Thank you for being here with me. Take care of your heart. And may love always guide your path.